So have you guys doing apparel?
Nah, kind of. My Annie Up lifestyle, I've kind of been, I just haven't really pushed it. I've been kind of pushing the podcast. I enjoy doing the podcast, I think, a little bit more than the clothing brand. Clothing brand
It's
kind of,
hard, man.
it's a grind, bro.
It's
It's a
hard.
grind. So, yeah, it's a grind. So I haven't really been pushing it as much. I definitely want to get into it again, but I kind of want to revamp it if I do
Yeah.
the clothing brand. I want to kind of do like more just socks.
Yeah.
Maybe like cause I go snowboarding a lot. Maybe like the face
Like
mask,
accessory stuff.
accessories,
Yeah.
not like shirts and stuff. That's just not.
Dude, it's a process.
Not my style.
It's a process with like just working with different parties. Like I have 3 different people I'm working with to. That's the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
I'm going through a company called the Bleak. That's a big. They're a manufacturing company. Like I get these. Like they're all custom. Like hand sewn
Exactly.
shit, and
Exactly.
where these things come from are manufactured somewhere else, and it's just waiting on that. Then the apparel, then I take it to my screen printer, and
It's a lot of work, man.
It's-
And then trying to get it in somewhere. If you're trying to
It's-
even get into a store or
oh
something.
yeah, dude.
I was even marketing. I had it in like 3 stores. Like a couple in the valley. I had, or actually one in the valley, one in Imperial County. It was like in Imperial actually.
Yeah.
And then I had another one in, where was it, dude? Like Salinas, like or
Oh,
maybe
shit.
maybe Paso Robles. Actually, Paso Robles. So like I was pushing it. I was trying to market it
Yeah.
out there, but bro, it's so. And then especially when you try to go retail, you're cutting all your profits. Your
Yeah,
profits
that's
are
why
getting
I think I'm just gonna stay e-commerce. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
I would
gonna-
do that if I were you.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
then you gotta pay someone to have your shit in there, and it's already as it is, man. You're the what are you making on each shirt? You
Nothing,
know?
really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're gonna break even. So
Exactly.
like these shirts, like the shirts I'm gonna have to be doing, like they're gonna be anywhere from $25 to $32 shirt. Which if you look at like a lot of the brands out there, it's what the comparables are. But some of them aren't even doing like the custom. Like these got custom Fluence tags. They're private labeled, so
Mhm.
like I get the branding inside the shirt.
Yeah, see, I wasn't even doing that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going that far.
Yeah, I'm paying for a lot of extra shit, but it's like, well, another reason why I think I can sell it for a little bit more is also because it's a donation. Like there's just gonna be portions donated. To
Yeah,
patients,
yeah,
so.
exactly.
But it's hard, man. And I hadn't even like lifted it yet, so.
I know. So yeah, this is the 19th episode of the 100 podcast. I brought in Ray, in charge of the whole Live Fluence project, going on out here in the Coachella Valley, actually, right? And kind of trying to spread it around. But first thing I gotta ask you is, what is it? What is the Live Fluence project? What do you got going? What's your big plan?
So Live Fluence Project, I do have something I'm gonna read here. So each shirt, each piece of apparel will have like a custom label on there that'll kind of tell you what it is. So Cannabis Culture Apparel, it's a unique brand dedicated to helping people who fight cancer. A portion of each purchase will be donated to the cause. So our goal is to reach as many people as we can through our sales. So basically, it's going to be streetwear / each purchase that you purchase will be donated to the cause of helping cancer patients. So it's a unique brand. I have like my own artist. He's a veteran artist that went to combat with my brother in the Army, a few tours. So he's basically like a retired Army artist now. So all he does is draw. So I come up with ideas. So obviously I'm in the cannabis industry. So I take a lot of pictures throughout my grows, and basically I kind of pick the best pictures through the cycle of that grow, and I'll take that and I'll come up with an idea that I want to put on a shirt, on a piece of apparel, and I'll come up with an idea. Like I have one coming up that's like straight gas, so it's like a big ass bud, and then it's got a gas mask on it, so you can kind of see through the lenses. So it's pretty sick.
Yeah, you can see right through it.
Yeah,
To the
so
butter,
like I have another design that I'm getting designed right now, and it's all Hollywood. So you're standing, basically it's like you'd be standing on top of Hollywood, like looking at the sign. So Hollywood coming out that way, and then there's like cannabis plants like kind of throughout the valley. So like just designs that pictures that I have, and then coming up with the cool design.
So you kind of come up with the little the idea, and then you kind of pass it to him, and he makes it into something.
Yeah,
makes it
so
into
like
a
I
beautiful
kind
art piece.
so I kind of give him like how I want it to look, and then I let him run with it. He's the professional, that's the artist, so we have a good like relationship in that way where I can just reach out to him. It's he's more of a friend, so it's a good relationship.
Yeah, there you go. What caused you to get into this? What made you want to help people? What made you want to make a difference, really?
Okay, good question, man. So like I said, I started getting into cannabis about 8 years ago. I was also in the Marine Corps, Scout Sniper. I had really bad back issues, sciatic issues, nerve issues. I still have it to this day. They had me on all kinds of pills, like anything you could think of. So I got into cannabis, and I didn't want to go into dispensaries and be buying cannabis. I couldn't afford that, so I said, you know what, I'm going to start growing this stuff and making medicine and helping people. So from there, basically, it's I got into it just to like really want to help myself, but then seeing how much cannabis helps people, and get away from the pills. And so ever since then, I started meeting people just in the street, like just normal everyday life, and I would meet people that have cancer, and I would basically start a relationship, and from there, I try to help out 2-3 cancer patients a year through natural medicine, and that's what kind of evolved this idea of the Fluence Project.
There you go. That's pretty good, man. That's interesting. What can you talk on the Marine Corps at all? Do you feel like that was a good experience? Would you do it again if you had to go back? Was that something like?
Yeah, definitely, man. So I went into the Marine Corps. I wasn't even 18 years old, so I dropped out of high school probably 2 weeks into my junior year, and got my parents' consent, which my whole family's in the military, so.
It was like normal. It was like, all right, let's
so like
let it go.
School wasn't really doing it for me, and everyone's different. School's good, so stay in school, kids. But at the same time, everyone has their own path. So I dropped out. Like I joined the Marine Corps. I was not even 18 years old, like I said. I was like still 17 and a half or whatnot. So I got out. I went in. I was at 0311. I was a grunt. I was on ground. I was went to Okinawa. Went out for the Scout Sniper platoon. Made that indoc, and I was a Scout Sniper for 2 years. I was basically during the whole 9/11. We were tasked to stay on Okinawa side. We toured the Philippines, trained the Filipino snipers, and from there, basically we were guarding the DMZ at the time. So I got married, young, 21. Met my wife in India, so we've been together for over this year. It'll be 15 years. So, I would do it again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of politics.
It looks like you had a plan already. You were kind of like you already knew what you're doing. You already had the military in your mind from the beginning.
Yeah, it's in our blood. So yeah, it was kind of it was gonna happen.
Yeah. I've thought about the military, and I have a lot of respect for any serviceman, man. And then on top of that, you go out of being in the service, and you're taking tours, and then you go out of the service, and then you go straight into, obviously the first thing was going to be help yourself. You're trying to help, you had issues, but then you saw the benefits of it, and then you help other people, like that's pretty amazing to just go from one thing, military, which is pretty tough, to another thing that's you're not even really helping yourself. You're trying to help everybody else again.
Right. Yeah, it was hard, man. Even getting out of the Marine Corps, I couldn't find a job. So it was, a lot of veterans go through like not finding jobs when they get out. So you do your time in and you get out and you end up like in debt, or, that's why a lot of people are in the streets.
Yeah.
So it's sad, man. It's a true circle that happens, and so you gotta really grind when you get out. So,
luckily, you kind of found another passion when you got out.
Yeah. So like,
did you think that was gonna be a passion? Did you think like cannabis or even the Live Fluence? Like did you have an idea when you were in the military, or were you it just kind of happened?
Man. Honestly, I was my family's was totally against cannabis whatsoever. Like my whole entire family. So when I first started getting into it, no one even knew. I didn't want to even tell my parents or anything. And so when they would come and visit, at the time I had plants in the backyard, just
trying to hide
everywhere.
So
my parents came over, man, and my stepdad and my mom, they're real they are not into anything cannabis related. So when they came over, I would have to try to go hide, run around the backyard, moving plants like from the one side to the other,
man.
or moving it from there to the garage, and it got to a point where I'm like, you know what, screw this. This is why I'm doing it. I'm just gonna tell them. And ever since, man, like I've kind of just been an educator on the plants. You know, whether it's people have questions or people just want to jump into growing. Like I would always suggest to anybody, if you're interested, don't try to do shortcuts. You know, I read books and books and books to learn like how to grow the best medicine. So if anyone ever asks me if they want to get into growing cannabis, I always tell them, if you're that interested, start in a 2x2 area. From a 2x2, jump to a 4x4, 4x4 to a 5x5, 5x5 to
just gradually let it build.
Yeah, because you just want to grow the best medicine possible in each space that you grow, each square footage that you go bigger than what your last grow was. There's always going to be a difference, whether it's airflow, whether it's your nutrient line, whether you can even afford the HVAC cost, or what kind of lighting conditions you're going to be using. There's so many different variables in growing, and so I always tell people, just start with like a small space and perfect that before you go any further. So that's like really behind the whole Live Fluence brand. I mean, it is. I am personally like a hobbyist grower, so like it's my passion. It's like and it's not even what I do full time. So I do alarms. So we have an alarm company, me and my buddy, that we've been doing alarms for the past 15 years, and we've worked together.
Really?
Yeah. So so SSE Alarms is our alarm company, and so we do a lot of work out of LA and San Diego. So it's a lot of traveling, but you know, alarms and cannabis, they do kind of go hand in hand as well too. So
yeah, I can definitely help you out.
Yeah, man. So like, there's a lot of facilities out there that need securing. So
exactly. What else can you give? What other pieces of knowledge, I guess, can you pass on about cannabis or the industry or growing or what benefits it has? Like what can you pass along? What things have you learned from reading or?
I would say, man, it all starts in the soil. I mean, everything starts in microbiology. Everything starts from the medium, from the plant source. So it's not about just getting any kind of dirt and just throwing a seed in there and it grows. I mean, it sounds easy. You can do that. Like they say, weeds grow like a weed.
Yeah.
It will grow, but it's not going to be the best medicine around. So like, there's so many different variables on temperature. Like, we live in the desert, so it's like anything that gets over like 75-78% in temperature, you're going to start dealing with you need to use preventative maintenance throughout your grows. And you can use natural preventative maintenance, or you can use a natural pesticide preventative maintenance, whether it's like a rosemary blend or like a cinnamon blend. But trying to do the best medicine out there, man. You know, it's like, I don't know if I'm kind of going off topic.
No, I'm listening. I'm in. That's why I brought you in, because I like bringing in just people from all walks of life and people that have done all kinds of different careers and are on different journeys. And I haven't brought anybody in that's really in the cannabis industry or even has any like knowledge. Obviously, I've brought in people that smoke weed or whatever, but that's not the same thing.
Right.
The whole growing from the plant, from just the soil all the way to the actual, you know, cutting it or trimming it, and you know, like. All that, that's a whole science, and a lot of people don't even have any idea what goes behind.
It's a process.
It's
such a process, man, and to work a full-time day and then I work 15-hour days, and then I still come home and I do watering and everything that goes into it. So, you know, I do everything from seed. I'll do everything from seed, viable seeds, or I'll do everything from clones. So if it's a seed, one thing you got to know, seed's always going to be like the healthiest plant. So like with a seed, you're always going to get a taproot, that's the first root that comes out of a plant. Mm-hmm. With a clone, you're never going to have a taproot, just because it's from the mother. It's a cutting. It's never going to have a taproot. You can have a healthy mother, take healthy clones, but it's not going to be as healthy as healthy seed.
Yeah.
So like, it all starts from there, man, and then from there, like, I'll do all the cloning. I'll do everything from vegging to flowering, and from flowering to drying, and from drying to curing, and from curing to trimming, and from trimming to wherever it goes from there, we'll
Yeah.
just leave it there. But
Exactly.
it's a process, man. And like I said, like I have a very small circle that I work with, so I'm not the guy that's on the side of the street hustling eights. I have a small circle of friends, or a lot of them are family and family of friends, or someone like you that we've just met, and like, you know, those type of people that I'm interested in. So like I'm not trying to go outside of that circle. That's
Exactly.
Problems, and I want to get with people that want great medicine and can understand, like, it comes from farmer to you. It's, you know, it's very selective of who I deal with.
Have you ever grown like hydroponics? Have you ever done?
So I do. So just so people know, like, the difference between hydroponics and like a medium. So like soil is considered a medium. So there's so many different blends of soil that you can do and inputs that you can put into soil to create the best flower. But then hydroponics. A lot of people think that hydroponics just means water, running water. Like if you have a drip system or a no-till system, a lot of people think that that's just considered hydroponics. But you can also be have a medium for a cannabis plant where you're just like if you had soil, but a medium that's inert. So anything that's considered inert is like cocoa coir. So cocoa coir, you can grow in cocoa, which is inert, means it's like pH buffered. There's no pH high or low. It's medium. So like in plants, just like humans, your body, cannabis plants like to be in a pH range anywhere between like a 5.5 to a 6.5, depending on the medium, if it's soil or if it's cocoa. So like there's a lot of things that go into the knowledge of the plant. So like that's what's awesome, and that's what I like about it. So like, but like you can grow hydroponically with cocoa coir and like vermiculite or cocoa and perlite, and still considered hydroponics even if you're hand watering.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. So have you ever done it yourself, hydroponics, or have you never?
I've done hydroponics.
So basically, is it like the is like the cocoa coir? Is it like those discs, like those soil? Is it like those soil?
So they have like different forms of cocoa coir now. So like they have actually a cool product out there, Charcoir. If you're listening, Charcoir is a cool product. So they're actually like in mesh bags. And then there's like a brick of cocoa in there.
Yes. Right? Okay, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, those are good for like really massive grows too, because like you can just lay them all on your flood tables, and then you can just water each one, and the cocoa just rises. So like those are cool. Like, you know, they're pretty. They're pretty inexpensive. I mean, for what you're paying for, soil's expensive, cocoa's expensive.
And you would suggest just a normal, like, just soil, just regular grow, or do you think hydroponics is just? Well, I don't know what's better or what.
I would say honestly, like as a beginner to start, I would always suggest probably start with something that has a little bit of forgiveness, which like a nice soil blend. So like there's a good blend out there, 707 by Roots Organica. They're a good blend. So they have inputs already into the soil. So NPK are the building blocks of any plant. So those inputs that are in those plant, it's in that plant. Like let's say you have a busy like work schedule, and but you still want to grow. So like using soil with inputs in it allows like a little bit of forgiveness. So if you don't have time to, like let's say you forgot to water one night. Well, like soil has like nutrients in the soil.
So you can get it's okay for it'll be all right.
Hopefully it doesn't get too dry. But if you don't have time to mix nutrients and all that stuff and do the watering and pH test it, if you just did like pH water here and there, you'd still be okay. I mean you don't want to miss like a feeding schedule, but you would be okay just because it has still some viable nutrients in there. But like let's say you did like a cocoa. Now that's different. There's not a lot of forgiveness in there because, like I said, it's an inert material. So there's no nutrients that are in it. It's just cocoa. Mm-hmm. So like there's nothing the plant. There's no nutrients the plant can get. And one thing we didn't really talk about is like pHing. So pHing is like so important for plants because they will go on like what they call a pH lockout. So like if you don't pH your plant to a 5.5 or to a 6.5, depending if you're going from a soil medium to a hydroponic medium, the plant will go into nutrient lockout, and it will not be able to get any nutrients from it.
Just because the pH balance is off.
Just because the acidic is too high or too low, so you want to be buffered, right? Or 5.5 to 6.
And I bet any like I don't know I bet the majority of people have no idea about that. The majority of people aren't even thinking anything about that.
They don't know,
idea.
man. They don't know.
Yeah.
And I know people in grows locally. Like I mean, like legal like big grows, and I've got knowledge for them still, man. And you know, one thing different about what I do versus others too is I use like the best horticulture LED lights on the market. So like I don't use high sodium pressure lights. I use LED lights. So the different measurement, there's a different wave measurement of LED versus a high sodium bulb. So it's more cost effective too, but also it's a little bit more delicate on the plant. So yeah, man, there's a ton of stuff to talk about with cannabis.
Yeah, that's
and that's what's kind of like back in the brand of Live Fluence Project. So like it's all about like it's like almost a brand for as a grower for growers, but also like wanting to be a streetwear as well. So there's multiple designs, you know. Right now we have like 5 or 6 different designs to start with.
And it's just Live Fluence Project on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
Live
so
Fluence
like
Project.
on Instagram, Live Fluence Project, and then also like me, I'm live_fluence. So you'll find both of them, and you know the Live Fluence is just kind of like my everyday thing. Like it'll just show like kind of processes that I do, or just like my grow.
I've seen it. It's a nice Instagram. It's
Whether
some
it's
beautiful
that,
pictures on
Thank
it.
you, I appreciate it.
Some beautiful pictures of flower on it. But I saw too. What do you have any tools you like to use? I saw it one time. You had I don't know what it was. It was like that shake bag or whatever. It was like I don't remember what it was called. But do you have any secret tools that make it easier on you?
So that's something that I just started using, man. And so like I don't know if you've ever trimmed before, but trimming is extremely.
I've trimmed one time in my life.
It's extremely tedious, man.
Yeah,
it's extremely tedious. So whether you're gonna get arthritis from it, or
your hands are getting all sticky. Bro,
so
I
like,
know.
So like I did move to like some processes that kind of helped me just because I'm busy as shit. So there's a bag in the market called Trim Bag. I didn't think I would ever kind of like go toward that route. But, you know, whether it's me trimming all the time or me getting a couple people that have a trimming party, it's a pain in the ass, man. So, like, this Trim Bag is awesome. Trim Bag, if you're listening. So, Trim Bag is, like, you can just take your material. So, I dry flower at 56% to 58% humidity, like, for about 2 weeks out in the desert. Like, if you dry it too dry in the normal temperature out here in the desert, your house is going to be about 16% humidity, which is dry. So your bud is gonna just crack. It's gonna crumble. It's not gonna have that, you know.
That's kind of that stickiness, kind of what you want still. So, that freshness.
Right. So like this trim bag, like after you dry it and cure it right, then really like once you dry flower, you should be able to just run your finger through it, and the little leaves that are still on there should just snap off. If you take a branch that you have dried correctly and you bend it, it should have a little snap. If it doesn't snap, there's still too much moisture in the stem. So like once it's dried correctly, you just kind of trim everything off, throw it in this bag, and you kind of do these rotations in there, and they have this system in place in that bag where it kind of peels back the sugar leaves and everything. So like basically once you're done rotating, you kind of just shake it around, and then there's like a zipper on the bottom, and you dump all the basically it's all your trim, it's all your sugar leaves and all your trim kind of.
Yeah.
And then what you do, and then I just dump all the flower out, right? And that's what needs to get trimmed. And I have another tool that I have in place that I'm using. It's called the cannabrush, it's an awesome tool.
I did see that. You post about that too. Yeah.
So I actually got some samples out to a couple big grows out here locally, and then I have some people in my family that have legal grows out in California that I got samples. So they love them, man. Like it's one, you know, the trim bag is one thing. Some people like would be satisfied with just using the trim bag or doing a rough trim, and I'm not satisfied with that. So like I like my flowers like nice and pretty. So like it's for a particular person, you know. So I like my flower like kind of like a jewelry. You know, it's got to be refined, and so like once I trim it with the bag, man, then I go through it with the trim brush, and it really gets in there.
And that brush, you're literally just brushing, right? That's all you're doing, right?
You brush it, so it's got like these like silicone based bristles. So like silicone THC doesn't stick as hard as on the bristle silicone than it does on scissors. So like you're actually it's actually a little bit more delicate on the flower just because you don't have like all kinds of resin sticking to
like coming off of it to the scissors.
So it's real delicate. It's a delicate process, but it gets close. It's like shaving your face, man. It just gets in there, and I haven't shaved, but but it gets in there real close.
Got a beard.
Yeah, it gets in there real close, man, and like it just pronounces the flower once it's trimmed correctly. So
yeah, I actually saw a video of you using it, and it looked pretty interesting, man. I was like, wow, that's a cool product. Whoever came up with it,
you'd be surprised, man. Like people that are in big grows and like legit big like huge grows, like they don't know about all these little projects. So like when they see my Live Fluence site and they're like, what is that? Like same questions like, what is that bag or what is that brush? And you would think that somebody, that's what they do as a
they would already know it. Yeah,
you would think that they would know already, and they should know. They should be real knowledgeable and get the magazines from the hydro stores, read them. Like I get all the magazines. I read everything for the new up and coming tools and techniques, and no one's a master grower. Everyone wants to be a master grower and say, oh, you're a master grower. Don't ever call me a master grower.
You're always learning.
There's always things to learn, man. I mean, even a master, if they what they used to call a master grower, I mean, you can't tell me when you stop learning, man, that's when the plant stops there, and you're not going to go any further. So I'm always looking to better the plant, better my nutrient schedules, better everything. So
I think that goes with everything, As soon as you stop, putting in the effort, they're gonna pass you by.
Right.
Everybody's gonna pass you by.
Right.
It happens with school. It happens with sports. It happens with growing. It happens with everything. But yeah. Oh man, I forgot I had a question in my mind and it threw me off because I started talking too much. But that's what I had. The Live Fluence project. When you're planning on getting it up and running, I know we got. And on top of that, what are you doing with Corona right now? What's your like? How are you preparing? How's your family prepped up? Like, are you sketched out about it? I asked my coach from the last podcast the same question because. Hey man, we're living in a different time right now. We're living through history right now, so might as well ask you what you think about it.
It's a hard question, man. So like the whole Live Fluence project, man, I wanted to like get this launched probably about a month ago, and just dealing. There's so many moving parts with the apparel brand, as you know. It's just dealing with the manufacturer, dealing with like I got private labels on the shirt. I'm getting private labels. Also, manufacturer tags removed with private labels as well. So it's just like that in itself is a process, and then from there I can have it drop ship to customers, but at the same time, I need to get the product because I have custom labels that we're putting on there that kind of brands the brand that says gives a story behind the brand. So that's got to get on the shirt, which they're not going to do for me. And then I got to get it to the screen printer and then pick it up, packaging, all that. It takes time. And so like I'm working with like a couple models that like now, like you said, the coronavirus has hit us. And I've got like 2 music artists that I'm working with. Like one's Mikey Reyes up in High Desert. He's known out in this valley. He's a great reggae artist. He's very talented.
They can just find him, search Mikey Reyes, and
if you look up Mikey Reyes like on YouTube, like you'll see all of his like videos, and he's great, man. And then so we've kind of became friends now, and like we're working together. We've got a Live Fluence song that's gonna be backed. He's backing the brand. So Mikey Reyes is one, and his girlfriend Brianna Navarro also is on the song. So. I got another artist up in the LBC, so like he's up there. So he's a great rap artist, Young Zeke. If you look him up on YouTube, you'll see all his West Coast stuff, and so he's working on some stuff for me. So getting the beats mixed and mastered, and
you're getting all that back end stuff ready.
Yeah, man.
So it's all ready.
I want to be like kind of a competitor, like out there with like kind of like the street wares out there, but also. It's all about donating to cancer patients at the end of the day. So like that's what the whole brand is, but it's kind of has 2 sides, like a streetwear side, but also a donation side. So that's where I'm running with that, man. But like with this coronavirus, it's crazy, man. Like we were just eating at a restaurant with the family just about a week ago. Like just
exactly now
I can't even, like, it's Friday. It was Friday, you know, and then I want to go out to dinner with the family, and you can't even do that.
So everything's pick up now.
Yeah, so like we're just trying to move with it, man. Like honestly, it was like, man, all this stuff hit us right now. We're trying to lift this company up and all this happened, but everyone's dealing with it, man. So like I think we just got to keep pushing through it, and like, you know, a lot of people may not want to spend the money right now on apparel, but at the same time, I mean, people can't really go shopping either. So like e-commerce is going to be kind of the way that everything goes, whether it's conference calls now because they don't want big groups. You can't go shop, or you can't even go into a mall anymore. So like things are really going to go toward e-commerce. So like,
and I saw even Pete from Flat Black, for example, he mentioned, I saw him on his Instagram story saying, you know, like the big corporations and stuff, like they're fine. Those guys are going to be fine. Like the small businesses, those are the guys that really need your support, you know, and especially like right. Coachella Valley. If you're in the valley, like why not support somebody doing something in the valley, you know? So I'm definitely with him. Like especially in this time, why would we go support, I don't know, Target or whoever when you can go buy from your buddy or whatever, go buy from the small town right. market to help out the people that are actually having to take care of their families, because Target, Walmart, all those people that are not the people that work there, but the people that own that, they're millionaires, bro, multimillionaires. Right. And the people that own Flat Black Shop or the people that own these small little whatever shops, they're trying to make it every day, you know, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because actually a lot of the CEOs right now, man, of big companies, like big corporate companies, with all this coronavirus thing happening, they're actually, a lot of these CEOs stepping down. So like a lot of these companies, man, are going to be non-existent, I think, pretty soon. So I think it's a kind of a scary time.
You think it's for everybody? It's kind of going bad.
It is, man. It is. So like, you know, Fluence Project, we still going to lift off. We still going to do this, no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether I wanted to get into this, no matter what, even if it made it or if it didn't make it, but I'm gonna make sure that I do make it. But at the same time, man, it's like it's gonna be kind of scary to get into the market with everything going on. There's a lot of unknowns. So, but I mean, like I said, e-commerce is gonna be the way to go now. So people are gonna be shopping from home. You know, everything's gonna be Amazon.
At least for, I'm guessing, a couple months, right?
It could be a couple months. It could be a year. We don't know. So, you know, I still want to be able to put the merchandise out there for people and let them know that we're still doing it. So
yeah, definitely. So I think this is how we should wrap it up, man. This is the 19th episode, 100 podcast. Again, this is Ray. Live Fluence Project on Instagram, or live_Fluence. Yes, is that it? On Instagram. Anything else you want to mention?
No, man, that's it. The site's still under construction, so like if you do go to the site, if you could just type in your URL, Live Fluence Project, it will come up. It is under construction, so it'll say that. But if you enter your email address on the website, we will email you and let you know when the site is launching, and you can get on there and help support cancer.
We're looking
patients.
Forward to it, man.
Appreciate you.
Can't wait, dude. Can't wait to check it out. That's it, bro. We're done. Man.